Alright, so this will be a recap of a binomial expansion, and we're going to review the steps in expanding a binomial using the formula method. Alright, so the first step, as I mentioned before, is to write down the coefficients using NCR. Alright, so that's the first step. The second step now is to expand the terms using those coefficients that we just wrote down. And the final step is to write the power for each term. All right, and so now we'll see how this all comes together using this example here. All right, so let's go now. So step one is to write down the coefficients. And using NCR, the coefficients will be, so because this is 4, it will be 4, C0, I will start at 0, 4, C1, I'm going to do that all the way up until this number down here reaches 4 as well. So it should end at the same number that you start with up here. All right, so that's step one. Now step two is to use these coefficients that we just wrote to expand each term. So that means we're going to have 4 choose 0, 2x and negative 1, plus 4 choose 1, 2x negative 1, and we're going to continue for each of these here. All right, and now the final step is to write the power for each of these terms. And like we said before, it's going to start at 4 for the first term and count down to 0. And this one will start at 0 and count up to 4. So the 2x here is going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And now for the other direction, that's 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. And the other step to do now is to just work out each of these individual parts. So again, remember to work out the 4 choose C part on the calculator. You would press 4, the button NCR, then 0, and then click enter, or equal rather. All right. So 4 choose 1 here would give us just 1. And 2x to the power 4, both of them are raised to the power 4. So that becomes 2 to the power 4, x to the power 4, and negative 1 to the power 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. So that part is done. Now 4 choose 1 will be 4. And again, this is going to be 2 to the 3. Everything is raised to the power 3 here. So that's 2 to the 3, x to the 3, and negative 1 to the power 1 is negative 1. And we'll just do the same now for the rest of these. And so the final step now is just to work out each of these to get the actual values. So 2 to the 4 is 16. 1 times 16 is 16. 1 times 16 is 16. So that's just 16 x to the 4. Here now, we have 2 to the power 3 is 8. 4, 8, 32. And 32 times negative 1 is negative 32. So that's negative 32 x cubed plus, good. And what you'll notice is that whenever you're doing the expansion and there's a negative sign between them in your answer, the signs will also alternate. So it starts with a positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So whenever this is a negative, the signs are going to alternate. If it was positive, then everything will be positive. And one final thing to note here is that, as we mentioned before, remember that the powers should always add to the original number. So here, 4 plus 0, 4, 3 plus 1, 4, 2 plus 2, 4, 1 plus 3, 4, and 0 plus 4, 4. All right? And that's basically what you do when expanding using the formula method. So it's the same as the first, nothing really to it.